Schaefer's is celebrating
its 79th anniversary with special rebates,
financing,
savings,
and free delivery store-wide.
Update your home with innovative Samsung appliances and save up to an additional $900 with rebates. Samsung Innovation saves you energy and time with easy-to-connect appliance technology. Plus, during Schaefer's anniversary, get free delivery on your appliance purchase.
So hurry in during Schaefer's 79th anniversary event, going on now.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in seasons? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Nebraska farmers, harvest is here and every gallon counts. That's why Sapp Brothers Petroleum launched the Go Big Red Fuel Giveaway. When you contract your fuel with Sapp Brothers, enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits. As Husker Country knows, the only thing stronger than the roar at Memorial Stadium is the drive of a farmer putting food on the table. Fuel your farm with Sapp Brothers Petroleum and enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits. Visit sapbros.net today. Sapp Brothers Petroleum, fueling the heartland. Go Big Red.
If the power is out, traffic lights might be too. If you come across a dark intersection, treat it like a 4-way stop. See more tips at les.com/safety.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist. This time he beats the kicker and one more. DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns, 1s and 2s. Per usual, come take weeknights. You guys are always welcome to join in. 402-464-5685. We are not live on the brick and mortar. I would say unfortunately, but fortunately, if you're listening to the brick and mortar, that does mean you get a little bit of NFL Thursday night action. You got the Vikings and the Chargers, and a quick score update on that one. 14-0. The Carson Wentz show not working right now. And Herbert, he's 7 for 8, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Pretty solid right there. He's also got 3 carries for 26 yards. 12 minutes in the second quarter. And like I said, Chargers lead at 14-0 over the Minnesota Vikings. We got some college football games to pick, per usual, on Thursday. The last one being Nebraska versus Northwestern. We'll talk about some of the keys in that game, but start things off. Good morning, Pierson-El. How's it going on what's been chilly? It's officially fall. I keep saying it, but it's getting colder by the day. Thursday night here in Lincoln.
Not too bad. One day closer to game day, one day closer to getting a terrible taste of last week's loss, really, officially behind us.
Yeah, it's that's the beautiful thing about football is you get a few, sports in general, you start winning, people forget quickly. And that's what's on the table. Listen, 5-2. I think a lot of people, if you would have told them before the season started, that wouldn't be a major shock to their system. But because of Nebraska fans being Nebraska fans, and I'm a little bit guilty of it too, you get a little bit of success. You start winning some games. Hey, 2 in a row. This should be easy. And then, of course, Minnesota, it's never easy. And in the Big Ten, it's never easy. If you're not ready to go play 60 minutes of football, and that was the case, unfortunately, on the road last week on Friday versus the Gophers. And, tip your cap to BJ Fleck. And we'll get to what the Huskers got to do this weekend in order to take down Northwestern. But per usual, we got some college football picks here. I am leading, although you did win last week, and there's only one game separating both of us. So leading by maybe an inch or centimeter. Let's start with do our picks. We're going to do 6 again.
Okay.
I think that's just fair. And there's a really great one early, 11 a.m. kickoff between number 8 Ole Miss hitting the road, playing the Oklahoma Sooners, ranked 13 in the nation.
I got Ole Miss.
Last time I took them, they bit me. But that was the Dogs. Yeah, I'm going to go Ole Miss too. Who do you think's favored?
Ole Miss, probably.
Oh, Oklahoma by 5.5.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by that. 11 a.m. game, maybe that makes it a little bit tougher, but I think the Ole Miss is going to wake up for that one. Lane Kiffin, I think he brings them to a win. I'm going to ask you, this blows my mind. What do you think the ticket price is? And me and DP were talking about this last night.
But for that game?
That between number 8 Ole Miss on the road facing number 13 Oklahoma.
175.
Lower.
120?
Lower. Decently lower.
95?
Way lower still.
It has to be because it's a morning game.
I know, but even still, you're telling me you got number 8 and 13? $26 to get into that game.
That's crazy that's an early game. Like that's a good college football game. Like I don't understand why that's not, a 2:30, 3:30 or a later game. It must be some bigger games playing this week.
Kind of. I mean, there are some big ones, but we'll look at some of these later slate games. I'm surprised by it. It feels like there's definitely some slots you could have put this one in there. But this is also a weekend where there isn't a ton of great games. And when you look at that morning group, maybe they're just putting it in there to give some spice to the morning because there isn't a whole lot going on. I mean, there's UCLA and Indiana, but it's at Indiana. Is there anything?
That's not that's nowhere near. No, that's awful.
What do you think Indiana's
Indiana is going to beat the Bruins off the side of their helmets.
That's what jerseys. They got Indiana favored by 26.5.
That's too low.
I like Indiana covering the spread in that one as well. So we both go Ole Miss on that one. Let me get my notepad out here so we can keep it honest, so no one thinks that I'm cheating over here, because I know you like to throw that accusation around loosely.
Yeah.
We're both taking Ole Miss, and that one, no problems there. All right, next game going forward. There is Nebraska Northwestern, but we'll skip that one now for obvious reasons. Number 4, Alabama hitting the road and playing South Carolina. 2:30 game.
I'm going Bama.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to go Bama too. These first two are they'll get a little tougher. These next ones I think I got a little bit more flair to it. And like I said, this isn't the most loaded weekend. Number 15 Missouri hitting the road, playing number 10 Vanderbilt. 2:30 kickoff.
I know where you're going.
Well, do you?
I'm gonna go Mizzou.
Nice. Yeah, you knew where I was going.
Yeah, I know you're gonna pick Vandy.
Hey man, Vandy's been nice. I can't deny.
You.
So you got Mizzou in that one. Missouri's nice as well. They got tested versus Alabama, but honestly, they didn't look bad in that game. My jaw's not going to.
Let's say that game wasn't a bad game.
Not at all. So I'm not putting it on the table that Vanderbilt's going to come out here and dominate. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a nail biter all the way to the very end. So there's 3 games right there. How many more big ones do we got? I don't want to jam this with meaningless games. Okay. Number 23 on the road facing Washington. Illinois has been a little bit up and down. They're coming off a bye, right? They get beat.
Illinois and Washington?
Mm-hmm.
It's at Washington?
At Washington.
I'm going to find an alumni, Illinois.
Nice. Give me Washington. Don't do it to me twice.
Off a bye week, you sure?
Huh?
I said off a bye week, you sure?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I think they're gonna walk into a raucous environment. And I think the Washington they're gonna respond well after a tough loss. At least that's my hope. Otherwise, I'm in trouble.
You say Washington? Okay, I got you. Huskies. Ugh.
Hey man, there's something about Washington, and eventually I'm gonna have to stop picking them. So I feel like
I mean, them and Vandy are gonna bite you, but okay.
So, maybe you keep saying that, but I'm still winning over here. So
by one.
Let's see. That is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Here's your chinny chin chin. But continue. We got 2 more picks.
Yeah, well, you're losing by your hair of your chinny chin chin. So I'd rather be on the winning.
You know, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish, baby.
Well said. And that's what we're going to talk about with Husker football down the stretch here. This is a big one. But I don't know if I really want to pick it. We can do Texas A&M on the road facing LSU, or we can do Texas playing Mississippi State on the road.
You can do A&M versus LSU. I got A&M.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, that one's LSU. It is a night game. Does that do anything? 6:30?
No.
At Tiger Stadium?
No. I mean, it's gonna be a nice game. I mean, that's a good atmosphere, but I still think I for whatever reason, A&M is not getting talked about as much as they should be.
I think they were a lot, and then they kind of been squeaking out some of these games. So you know what?
They're still winning. I mean, if it was Alabama squeaking out, they would still be, getting up there. Georgia has squeaked out some games, and they beat Tennessee, they beat Bama. I mean, not Bama. They beat Ole Miss by squeaking out of it. So I mean, that ain't good enough.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Give me LSU Tigers. Although I do feel like that's a shaky spot. The coach makes it through if they keep dropping games. So this is a big one. And I'm kind of hoping that he sees okay, we have to show up. Otherwise, I'm going to get some nasty phone calls and I'm not going to.
He's already getting some nasty phone calls. They lost to Vanderbilt.
I know, but Vanderbilt's good now. You keep talking down on them.
One year, you gotta be consistent.
Last year, they were good.
They were decent.
Yeah. And then this year, what are they?
Still decent.
Okay. All right. Last game, as always, Nebraska versus Northwestern, 11 a.m. kickoff at home, Memorial Stadium.
Big Red.
The question is, do you make it a close game or do you say Nebraska has a strong performance?
I think they have a strong performance, but I think it's going to be one of those classic Big Ten type games, a low scoring type game, a 24-17 type of style of game.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, what's the spread here? Spread's 7.5 again for Nebraska. We're getting these big spreads every single time. Northwestern plays us close all the time. It just does not matter. There was one year that you can remember with Scott Frost, and it was a really down and bad Northwestern team that year where we totally blew them out of the water. Other than that, I can't think of a game where we've played Northwestern where we've just dominated them the way that the lines say we're going to.
I mean, in the past recent years, I can't say, but I mean,
in the Bo Pelini era, you can find him.
That a little bit in the Mike Riley era. It was a few years we got him. I think we went to Northwestern a couple times wearing all white and got the best of them. In 16, 17, we lost last second at last play of the game. Didn't convert. I think on a 4th down or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's been some years.
Yeah. So what was yours? Sorry, one more time. The score prediction.
I really want to say 28, but I think I'm gonna go 24-17. I think that's a fair score.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a morning game too. Like I'm not. I have to see it. That like I will be happy if I'm wrong and it's 34-14. I'll take that. Or 34-21. Cool, whatever. But I think it'll be a little bit of a Big Ten grinder type game. I think first quarter it might take us a little bit to kind of get going.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 28-23. I'm gonna start backing off of my big Husker wins here until they do it consistently. So that's gonna be our tiebreaker if needed. Although this feels like, just looking at the list, this feel like we're gonna need that tiebreaker.
You said 28-23?
Yeah, 28-23. Little scoregami. Get a unique score in there. I feel like it's going to be field goals. It's going to be, that's what I'm banking on, is Northwestern's going to be trying to kick some field goals, preserve clock, and Nebraska's going to be able to run the ball out and own that last possession. So that's where I'm at. See if the Huskers can pull this one off. But, man, they need it. And we'll talk about why they need it. Let's talk about that right now. Keys to this game, Des Moines Pierson-El. And we'll look at some of what Northwestern has for their players and who their key guys are. But just on the outside looking in, the quick stats, Preston Stone, he's got 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the year, 1,213 yards. He's been playing better as the season's been going on, though, so don't let that 10-7 split fool you too much. Kamalafi, he's got 107 carries, 5 touchdowns, 483 yards on the ground, and their best receiver is Wildy. He's got 36 receptions, 4 touchdowns, 516 receiving yards on the year. And then again, I mean, they got multiple guys that get sacks. I think all their front three all got at least 2+ sacks on that defensive front. So I'd imagine the game plan is going to look a lot like Minnesota. Des Moines Pierson-El, what are your thoughts initially that if Nebraska wants to win, what do they need to do?
Execute on both sides of the ball. There's different types of things that each individual group will have to do, but it's understanding the assignment, knowing what to do, and going out there and making it happen and winning on your assignment. I think if we do that collectively, like that's a key to both sides of the ball, not just specifically one side. I think if we do that and everything like that, it will make the game easier.
Yeah, I mean, it's common sense, right? If you don't shoot yourself in the foot, you're going to be able to walk a little bit better. And, that's always been the problem. And I was talking to you about this before, or maybe it was Chris Raff, but the teams that Nebraska, in my mind, struggles the most with are the Michigans, Minnesotas, the teams that play a very conservative style brand of football. And you know what teams I'm talking about. Iowa, of course, is another one because those teams wait for you to be the guy to make the mistake. And that's worked out well for Minnesota every year they play us. Like it just even was it 2 years ago or last year with the Jeff Sims pick? That was year one of Matt Rules. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But that was a game where you might have been, if you're a Minnesota Gopher fan, you might have been upset with PJ Fleck. Like, you guys got to be aggressive. You're going to let Nebraska keep taking their chances and keep taking their swings, and we just keep punting the ball. We have to go for it on one of these fourth downs, or if we got a 3rd and long, stop running it. We got to drop back and try to make something happen. And PJ Fleck said, no, we'll wait. And then it worked. And then this year, what happened? We'll wait. And it worked. And that the first possession they punted saying, we'll wait. And it worked. And that's the same thing Iowa does. That's what Minnesota does. That's what Michigan, a little bit different way. They just punch you straight in the face, not really waiting.
They out physical you. It's like you're not stronger than us. So they play bully ball.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but kind of the same conservative style, although it doesn't feel conservative because, those runs turn in. We saw Haynes run for 75 yards. It's hard to say that feels conservative when they're, brutalizing you that bad on the run game. But, that's always what worries me about these teams, and that's why I got a close spread on this one is Northwestern. They got Preston Stone, who we mentioned, and shout out Barry Thompson, Fairfax Academy. He's actually one of his QBs, and we've had Barry Thompson on many times before. So he's been under his tutelage, and I always got high regards for Barry Thompson. So I know that Preston Stone, he's been taught pretty well. And again, if you look at his game, he every now and then he will force a ball. And sometimes he forces it, and it's magic, where he's lasering it in a tight window, but sometimes he can get it. And other times it's kind of a hold your breath. And a little bit like Malik Washington, if everyone meant that Maryland game, where every now and then he'd be lasering, and then once in a blue moon, you'd see one that was behind the receiver. And it might get tipped and jostled up in the air. Unfortunately, never None of them landed into a tip drill where Nebraska got the interception. But Preston Stone plays a little bit more conservative, but he will force those balls every now and then, kind of like Malik Washington. And if he's on, it can be a really big problem because he does got a cannon. If he's off, you hope our secondary can kind of feast on that. And again, that's where those 7 picks come from. It's once in a blue moon, he will try to throw into a tight window, and that's where we got to take advantage of it. Yeah, just don't make mistakes. What are your concerns after the offensive line? Mentally, can they recover after being hounded by the media? Hopefully they just didn't look at it, but
I think so. I mean, coming back with this one, you have to watch the film. You have to kind of eat the meat and potatoes of it. This week, it's a new week to kind of go out there. So I'm pretty sure they simplified things and kind of got their rotations and given everybody enough reps to where their confidence is impacted in a positive way, to where that they can execute and everything like that. The thing about it is what's going to happen, when Northwestern counters kind of or makes adjustments and everything like that. How can they go out there and make their own adjustments to kind of keep chugging along? I think that's going to be a huge key just with the offensive line. We get the left tackle back with which should. It's a lot better than what it was. We typically play better at home, but I think they're up for the challenge. I think they've kind of heard enough of it and everything like that. And this is a game that I think the offensive line as a whole would try and make a statement.
You'd hope so, right? And because this is the one thing about Northwestern is they do have a really good defense. And that's going to be the challenge: is can you stop those guys when they want to send pressure and protect your quarterback? Does the offense of Northwestern scare a ton of people? Not necessarily. The defense, go ask Purdue in that shutout, where Northwestern only scored 17 points, but Purdue could get nothing going. And that's the same Purdue team that ran all over Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So that defense is legit. And that's a Northwestern team that beat UCLA, that beat Penn State in Happy Valley. Yeah. They're not scared about coming to Memorial Stadium.
No.
Not that much. And DP actually made me laugh. It was Jay Foreman. He made me laugh. He was talking about, they're excited. They get to come and play. And how many fans? You got to remember, this team that plays in the Medicine Field, Northwestern Medicine Field up there on the lakefront, they want a big crowd. This is games for them. They don't get to do this at their own home stadium while it's currently being renovated. So they're not going to be intimidated, I don't think, about coming to Memorial Stadium, especially after seeing the lick that Minnesota put on us. So it is a big statement game. That defense is, I think, is going to be hungry for blood. And the other part of that, easy to pick on the offensive lineman. DeMornay Pierson-El as a wide receiver, and maybe you're so good it didn't happen that often. And we had this game where, although we can, nitpick at Dylan Rayola on the offensive line and the pass protection, the guys also weren't necessarily getting open all the time either. And Minnesota was doing a good job, just getting handsy with those guys, jamming them up, making sure that we really couldn't even get to our quick game at times because they're all over it. How do you bounce back from that as a wide receiver where you got a bad game and you feel like you got locked up all night, and despite the stars and you being the better talent, you didn't have it?
I think the unit as a whole, they have to play faster. I would like to see them play faster with a little bit more edge. We've had some slow starts and everything like that, or it's been at times where they kind of push the pedal and everything like that. But getting them going, kind of getting them involved early and often, screen games, reverses, with Barney or 13 or something like that. Get them going early and often. And even if they are sitting back in coverage and everything like that, there are still other quick games that you can kind of do to kind of get them situated. But with the receivers, and I know they know that. Like, I'm not saying that they don't have a plan, understand, what the guys are trying, to do against you and everything like that, and like I said, just playing fast. Those two things right there, you play with your eyes. I did getting out of the huddle fast, identifying coverage quicker and everything like that, having a plan. Okay, if he's playing, inside shade, if he's playing outside shade, which hand he kind of want to punch with and everything like that, and kind of like I said, kind of bring a little bit more of an edge. Not to say that they're not, but I like I said, I would like to see them just play faster instead of just kind of playing smooth or just not. I don't want to say go through the motions because I don't think they're going through the motions, but just play with a bit more intensity.
When you got, we'll see if Northwestern does this to us, but I imagine they will at times. if they trust in their ability to get pressure. When you got defenders that are just trying to constantly jam you up at the line of scrimmage, how'd you deal with that? What was your coaching? What were you taught, deal with that kind of getting in your grill right on the scrimmage?
I mean, we were taught where we had a plan. Like I said, is understanding. Is he playing catch? Is he playing off? Is he playing bail? And then having your go-to A move, your go-to B move, and kind of like your counter and everything like that. So playing fast, getting the DB to play to be number two and allow him not to dictate where I go or what I want to do and everything like that. It all started off with, again, just playing fast and making sure that, they're always playing catch up. And then, you throw in a few change ups and mix ups with certain things and everything like that, get them kind of guessing or whatnot. And now they're on their toes and now they're a little bit, overthinking about, what they want to do if they want to come press and everything like that. Because DP also stands for don't press. So I didn't mind it, but, people necessarily, it wasn't too often to where, it really hit home.
Yeah, well, you'd burn them on it, right? And, at that point in time, you had a decent offensive line and quarterback that could give the time to let you go get that step you need in front, and then they could bomb it downfield for you. And that's going to be the key and I think that's why they're kind of jamming guys up, because there's, are we going to seriously run verts when we're giving up that much pressure in that Minnesota game? Of course not. No one's going to, by the time someone gets that step, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm wondering, what is Northwestern going to look like in terms of their pass defense? Because again, I think they're going to trust that defensive front a lot to go get pressure on Dylan Rayola.
Even if it's changing personnel, 12 personnel, to get more added pressure in there, with certain stuff, and having the tight ends kind of leak out late, having them chip and go to the flat. If Northwestern's eyes aren't disciplined, that's where you can really sneak by and hit them. Because if they already account for the tight end blocking and whatnot, and then you do wide tunnels, wide sneaks, or chip to the flat, chip to the seam, and everything like that, you can start to definitely crease them or whatnot. So I think just changing up certain stuff, and like I said, getting Dylan, I think, out on the edge, having him roll out to where he's not just a sitting duck to say, in one spot.
Yeah, that's we'll talk about Dylan Rayola too and what he's got to be able to do in the next segment. I'll ask you this though, and I should have asked you as the season went on here, since you played a lot of these teams. Give me in your career the toughest Wildcat, the guy that would genuinely give you problems, or a guy that you definitely had to account for.
I think they had a safety. He had like a long, weird name. He ended up getting drafted and whatnot. He was a headache. He was like a strong safety, Godwin or something like that. I can't remember his last name. But he was a thumper. So we always had to account for him. He would always be near the line and everything like that. And when we had to crack or smash down or something like that, it was a physical, tough matchup. And then they had a running back, Justin Jackson. I think he was a dynamic back in the Big Ten. I don't think he got enough credit. I want to say he played with the Chargers for a little bit. Just going against them, he would always give us hell. You just know something was coming, with him in the backfield and everything like that. So those are probably, I think, like the two guys that come to mind when thinking about Northwestern.
Yeah, and you're right. It's Godwin. I don't want to mispronounce his last name.
It's something weird.
It's Webuike. If you guys want. Give me the notes on how to spell it, because I'm not gonna.
That's the one.
I know. I read the last name. I'm like, it's probably this guy.
Yep. Uh-huh.
But yeah, and definitely a good one, because I always remember, there's so many names that just get lost in translation as the years go by. So I'm gonna start asking you from week to week, give me that player on that team that was just a pain, and what. With that being said, though, we do got to throw it to break. On the other side, let's talk a little bit more on the offense, more on Dylan Rayola. And then we'll talk about the defense. What does the defense got to do to stop what you may call a conservative Northwestern team? But, they play that style, and when they get in the red zone, they usually do a good job of capitalizing on it. So with that being said, we'll go to break. Don't go anywhere, though. This is the Don't Punt Hour. We got the morning Pierson-El streaming in. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We will talk to you guys in a little bit.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th when every red tag machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Husker fans know when you work together, great things happen. At Cornhusker Bank, they're more than your financial partner. With 5 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Omaha, they're your neighbors, your teammates, and your biggest fans. Whether you're saving for your first home, planning your future, or growing your business, they're right here in Nebraska to help you move forward together. Visit cornhusker.bank to learn more. Cornhusker Bank, member FDIC. Doing life together.
Deciding on a college with your high school senior can be a little overwhelming for parents. But applying for money to pay for it is simple. FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is now easier than ever with fewer questions and faster fill-out times. If you have a high school senior, now is the time to apply for thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing. Get started, Nebraska, at dothefafsa.org. Sponsored by Education Quest Foundation. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th, when every red tagged machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Don't Punt the Hour, second segment. We got the host, as always, DeMornay Pierson-El, streaming in. You guys can join in. We do got NFL on the brick and mortar. Another update, 14-3. Chargers still lead it, and about 50 seconds left here before the half. With that being said, DeMornay Pierson-El, let's break down a little bit. Let's talk the quarterback, Dylan Raiola. And, you know, I guess the biggest fear would be, or is he going to kind of slip into the midseason form of last year? And some of it may not be his fault, again, with the pressure. Some of it is. Again, you get 9 sacks. That's a team effort. That's the only way I can say that. That's not just one guy causing 9 sacks. Everyone at some point in time is doing something they're not supposed to do. But where are you at with Dylan Raiola? Are you any fear of him kind of running into that mid-season stretch that he did last year?
No, I don't think so. I think Rule, Dana, and himself as a whole to come up with a plan to be better, to stay on time and everything like that. It just comes down to just executing and operating. We've seen him operate at a high level, and of course, you know, lately it's kind of, you know, hasn't been where our expectations, you know, would like it to be. But the thing about that, I think he always puts his best foot forth. He doesn't necessarily try to do too much, you know, and everything like that. And sometimes, like, I mean, I know the Patrick Mahomes antics and everything like that. I don't think that's necessarily, oh, I'm gonna do that right here and there. I think that kind of comes out.
I think that every time he does anything remotely close, they catch it every time. So it feels like if you're an outsider looking in, you're like, man, this Dylan Raiola guy, that's all he does is try to be Mahomes. It's like, no, you're just finding every instance where he does anything. I mean, they did when he went like this, I think he just flexed, and it was like ESPN put up Dylan Raiola hitting the Mahomes flex.
I mean, it is what it is, but you know, I really do think he is, you know, putting his best foot forward with just, you know, not trying to cost the team and everything like that. And I mean, he does a good job of covering his teammates and kind of taking the blame of stuff. And as a quarterback, that's what you want. He's not hanging guys out or anything like that. It's just those are the cards that, you know, he was dealt with, and they got to make the best of what they got going with people, with guys that are hurt, and, you know, people that have, you know, missed, you know, the same, or, you know, or missed assignments and everything like that. And then, you know, guys on the perimeter got to, you know, help out with, you know, catching the ball and, you know, getting open quicker and everything like that. Offensive line got to, you know, move the line of scrimmage to where Emmett can kind of take over and do his thing.
With the limited knowledge that you have, right? Because I know you don't got the Husker playbook and you don't know what they all practice, but with the limited knowledge that you do have just from watching and maybe hearing some of the things from players, former players, or just listening to the ticket, if you're Daniel Holgorsen, how do you make life easier for Dylan Raiola and just this offense as a whole, especially after, you know, the sack problem that's been occurring?
That is a good question. That is a very good question. I mean, that's his coach, so I know they meet, more times than not and everything like that. I think it's just getting in there to simplify things, getting in there to make things easier checks and everything like that. Okay, if we get things, for sure up in front of you and everything like that, like, are you more comfortable with, your left tackle having a one-on-one matchup? That way, if anything happens, you might get beat from that side, and just adding small nuances. He has the ability to check the ball at the line. I think he does a good job of doing that and everything like that. It's just we need an extra half a second to a second more to get things running and whatnot, and he's not necessarily getting that fully. And I mean, that may be somewhat of him being a little bit more trusting. And that may be, play calling just with not so much stuff going vertical down the field and everything like that. Dana, I would like to see the seams hit a little bit more. Harburg in there. I mean, he can run benders. Even if you put Barney or somebody in the slot position to kind of make him, make the defense guard him in the slot, I think that would be tough and everything like that. And just having stuff, sitting over in the middle of the field in front of the quarterback, your mesh routes and whatnot, just to kind of get the quick game kind of stuff back on stuff and everything like that. But I mean, it's a difficult position because I don't think it's not Dana not doing things. Like, it's not they're throwing stuff. They have things, built in or whatnot. I really just believe it comes down to just the offense as a whole, executing, everybody doing their job to get the things, rolling or whatnot. I think if they do it 80% of the time, I think, we wouldn't even be having the problems that we have.
Yeah, I don't doubt Dana Holgorsen. I really don't. I think he's a good coach. I think it's been tough, with the protection and obviously it kind of throw a wrench in what Holgorsen likes to do, but I think he's smart enough to find some ways around it. And I expect to see some of that this week, unless the line, can prove like, no, we can hold a clean pocket for more than a couple seconds here. Then we can get in some of that deeper out stuff. And, and I know they're capable because you go to the beginning of the year and Cincinnati, say what you will, that's not a bad defense. That's a good defensive front. And those guys do a pretty good job getting pressure, even in the Big 12, even with Michigan. I know we gave up a lot of sacks in that game, but I think Michigan is probably better at getting pressure than Minnesota. And it just kind of feels like, I don't know if we're losing our confidence, if the communication's kind of getting lost, but
just lack of focus, I think.
Yeah, maybe that's all it is.
Attention to detail, execution. Like it's the problems that we're having. I mean, I think that they're really, really simple issues. There are some things that you can control. There's some things that you can't control. You can't control, somebody being bigger than you to a certain extent. You can't control somebody being, stronger you to a certain things. Those are the things that you necessarily can't control. What you can control is making sure that you don't leave your assignment too early and everything like that. That your hand placement and your technique, is well and everything like that. You're not the one that causes a wrench to be thrown in it. So I think if our offensive line can focus up on better on just assignment execution, the one-on-one, I like I said, even if it's 75%, of what it is and everything like that. And sometimes it rears its head at the wrong time, at bad times and everything like that. Third and medium, third and short to where, it's manageable, or false starts, or, unnecessary penalties to where people, get kicked out of games. Not to say that, I mean, it is what it is. That's kind of football. I think that was a BS kind of, targeting, but I mean, I get the safety thing.
Right.
But I mean, it's all just, executing smartly within the play. That way we're not hurting the team in any way.
Yeah. And I think you're absolutely right. Because some of these teams, and just looking at the offensive line, like, listen, if you guys aren't good enough, maybe that's just it. Maybe you're not as talented. But you know what you can do is, to your point, make sure you get the right hand placement, get your leverage right. And you know what? They still might beat you, but you won't get demolished. If you do the small things right, it won't just be you getting run over in a matter of 2 seconds, or not even in a matter of half a second, the way that last went. So, I'm not expecting these guys to look like they did against Cincinnati every game here going forward. But if people remember, if you go look, the topics after that Cincinnati game was like, that is some of the best pass protection I've seen out of Nebraska in a long time. That was really good. And it's just kind of fallen off to that point. So I think the guys are capable of it. Maybe it's lack of focus, losing the details, whatever it may be.
Mid-season, it's a grinding season, but I mean, you signed up to play football. That's what it is. You got a job to do.
Absolutely. Defensive side of the ball. What are the keys to victory there? Knowing that you got, once again, it's like a Minnesota. They're going to run some outside zone, some inside zone. They're going to try to squeak those through just like Minnesota did.
I think with the defense being the hammer and not the nail. It's been times where they've been out of position, lapse of focus and everything like that. And it's just, I don't want to say effort because I think the effort necessarily is there. It's just when it looks bad, it looks bad. Tackling. This is another Big Ten opponent. The Northwestern's been in the Big Ten for a while. They're gonna have solid guys and everything like that. So wrapping up and making sure everybody rallies to the ball. I haven't seen it hasn't looked as it has earlier in the season and again. So just understanding necessarily that they be in the right position is just finishing plays, finishing drives and everything like that. Slamming the door shut. I think is the most key. And then, defense, I mean, just about, I think every time at home, every opponent that we've played at home, we've come up with a turnover or multiple turnovers. So continuing that streak, not only, on the road, I mean, not only at home, but on the road. So the guy, you said it's 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's a close ratio. Hopefully, we can get 2, an interception or a strip fumble or something like that to give us an extra possession or even an extra score.
Yeah, our special teams turnover. We got that as well this year. And the bright side is I'm not worried about the special teams.
No.
All the years of Husker football, this is not the year I have been worried once about special teams. Shout out Mike Eckler. He's probably the one coach who's got the least criticism, and rightfully so. I mean, he's done a hell of a job with that position group, just that whole operation of the field. So you like your odds there. Northwestern's going to be clean in special teams too. That's kind of in their DNA as well. But we've been explosive there. So you hope you can make some magic happen. But I think you're right with that defense. You guys want to be the hammer. John Butler spoke about it in the press conference, how he felt like he maybe changed things too early and lost sight of the game plan. And that's not verbatim, that's paraphrasing, but you guys can look at it himself. And he was critical on the way he called the game, thinking I should have stuck to my guns a little bit more and been more aggressive. I think that's the way you got to attack this Northwestern team. They might pop one, but if you tackle, yeah, and if you tackle well, we had one where Taylor, we could have gotten him for maybe a gain of 7 and it turned to a monster game because we had a missed tackle. Sometimes they're going to pop one for 7 because you're not properly lined up, or they just had the right offense play to counter what you're doing on defense. But if you tackle well, you could still hide some of those play calls that maybe they caught you on that. They caught you that time, but if you stay aggressive, eventually it should work out if you game plan right. And I think that's what John Butler was referring to, where I thought we game planned right, but for some reason I got off the script.
I would agree. And I mean, like I said, for him to identify that and everything like that, I can expect, a more of a high pressure or a very intense, group of guys flying around, banging, crashing helmets.
Yeah. And I keep saying, I'm speaking that I'm trying to believe that these guys are all going to done. With that being said, Northwestern is going to come in here on fire. I think this is going to be a fired up Northwestern team. So this is a game where I think they'll have it right because they're coming off an embarrassing loss. I think it's, it'd be bizarre to see them not focused or not respecting Northwestern because, again, they're 5-2 as well. But I still think it's going to be a close game. But it doesn't mean, it's a woe is us. I mean, just get the win. That's all anybody cares about. And again, I think that Northwestern team's good. They're going to be lit on fire to play us. So we'll have to wait and see. And of course, that one 11 a.m. on Saturday. But also, if you want to catch a little preview of Northwestern athletics, you can head to the volleyball match tomorrow. It's a pink match where pink Husker volleyball takes on Northwestern, 18-0. Husker volleyball at that. Looking to go 19-0. And then I got another one on, I believe, Saturday. With that being said, though, we're going to skip the break. It's streaming only, and we're over. Did you watch NBA last night? And in particular, did you watch the Spurs and Mavs?
That was a good game. I caught a little bit. But I mean, both teams look good. both teams, added. Wemby is something serious. He's going to be an issue.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, Victor Wembanyama last night, 15 rebounds and 40 points. Oh my goodness.
How many blocks?
I'm getting the full box score right here because that's the other part of his game that always goes unnoticed. He had one. We're just going to give the full stat line on this because this guy's a good luck. Good luck, the NBA.
He can literally have four. He can have like 10s in 4 or 5 categories. Like it. Oof.
Yeah. Well, and you hear stuff like, oh man, 40 points. Geez, how many shots you taking? Well, he took 21 and he made 15. So he shot 71% on the night. And some of that, with that height, you can just yam it on dudes. The other part of that, he was 1 for 2 from 3. He had a crazy, I think it was a step back 3. So he shot 50% from 3. And then the free throw line, he was 9 for 11. So, a center, not really a center, but a dude at that size, like he's like 7'7", shooting pure numbers from the line, who's going to yam it on you when he's going down.
What can you do with that?
I don't know.
What can you do? Like, I mean, from Joker to him, it's just like they're polar opposites, but it's like, come on, like what, like where did they make these guys?
In France. And
what lab? Like, this should not. This is crazy.
Maybe we need to go overseas and start like really doing a case study on like, hey, we were playing basketball over here. Whatever you guys are doing, you guys are cheating somehow. You got a lab where you got maybe the labs in the UN where all these European countries are getting together and creating these superhumans of basketball players.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. So to finish the stat line, 3 blocks.
3? That's it?
Yeah, 3 blocks and a steal. 0 turnovers, by the way, as well, which is you would think a guy dribbling that
for him, 3 blocks is crazy. Like you're supposed to at least get 8. At least 8.
The problem is though, like they just see him standing there and they're like, I'm not going to shoot this.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, so like it's actually hard for him to come by blocks because he does have that presence. So he's almost getting to the point now where he'll have some games where he's still going to get like 6 blocks or something crazy, but he's also getting to that, a positive wingspan. The dude grew even more. He's sitting there at like 7'7". Are you gonna try to shoot over him even if he's
not? You gotta like if like Dallas is big man. Like man, you gotta turn over and try and dunk on him. Like you just gotta try and make him feel little. Like you gotta muscle him. And I don't think they did a really good job of that. They kind of like took the soft way out. Nah, you got to be on some Dwight Howard and Shaq, Sean Kemp type of time and just I mean it is what it is. You down there, I'm down there. We going up. If you get it, you get it. If not, oh well. But every time I get the ball, I'm trying to dunk on your head.
Yeah, and I should correct him. I keep saying 7'7". 7'4" supposedly grew a couple inches, so I don't know where that put him at, but he's officially listed at 7'4", but that wingspan is certainly 7'7" plus. He's got a ridiculous wingspan as well. And
he doesn't even look like a real character running up and down the court.
Oh, it looks like an alien. It still looks weird to watch. It looks weird to watch because, again, what amazes me is that 0 turnovers. A guy of that size having those handles is just not supposed to happen. And him moving like that is not supposed to happen. The best
that Spurs team looked good though. Like they looked like from what Pop was doing, like a 2.0, like a faster version, efficient. Like I don't want to say boring basketball, but it's not your typical run and gun. They're selfless. They're making the extra passes. They're moving the ball around. They look like a group of guys that kind of they rather get the assist rather than scoring.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about they're not in the first tax apron. They're definitely obviously not in the second tax apron. So if they feel like things are clicking, they can go ahead and spend some money and go into that first tax apron. Now I doubt a small organization ever gets into that second tax apron, but if they feel like it's right, they got a little bit more money. I think they got about like 10 mil they can spend for this year before they hit that first tax apron, or it might be closer to 11 million. So they got a little bit of wiggle room yet if they want to do some serious damage. And then I believe it's I should look how much before that second tax apron hits. They got about 21 million, closer to 22 million before they hit that second tax apron. So they got some wiggle room. They're paying some guys some decent money, but you also got some valuable pieces that you can probably trade. They're not big names, but a De'Aaron Fox contract might be tough to move. Harrison Barnes is not, he's always an easier one to move because he's still got it. Kelly Olynyk's been a traveling merchant. He's an easy contract to move. And then you got Luke Cornett, Stephon Castle. You have a bunch of names that are good role players that if you need to make some moves, it's a very tradable roster where you're not super invested into a ton of guys. So, yeah, again, I just really want to dive into the NBA and in particular the San Antonio Spurs because Victor Wembanyama, we all knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time. But damn, to do that.
Like I said, that game last night, that was a good one. I like that. Like I said, I'm still rolling with the Mavs. The Mavs are gonna have a heck of a season as well, I think.
Yeah, any concerns about? I know it's one game. Cooper Flagg, he was only 10 points. He was 4 for 13. That puts him at 30%. He only took 1 3. He missed it, but only one.
He'll get in his groove. He'll get in his groove. I'm not concerned about that at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too critical. I know the summer league was a little bit up and down for him as well. I don't know if he's going to hit that ceiling that everybody was really hoping for, but I'm going to give it time. I mean,
he got a lot of superstars around him to where he doesn't have to be what Ant was in Minnesota when Ant got drafted by Minnesota. He's not a ball in Charlotte to where it's got to be you and only you. Like he has help. So the game will come to him, and it's finding out where his piece of the pie fits in it. I think it is a piece of the puzzle, and letting him kind of let his leash kind of loose a little bit. So I'm not worried about that at all with that coach down there. I mean, he's a very witty guy. He'll get it figured out.
I'm on the same page. Like I said, the ceiling, we'll wait and see if he meets that ceiling that everyone put on him so early on. But he's one of those guys where, as a rookie, his defense isn't going to be great, but he has all the metrics and the athleticism and the frame at that size, at that position, to be a really good defender, and he's going to get your rebound. He got 10 rebounds in that one, despite the tree of Victor Wembanyama being down there in the mix with it. So he's going to do enough on the stat sheet, I think, where even if it's not an electric offensive night, to your point, he's got other guys on that team that he can feed to pick up some of that offense until he starts finding his groove. So for all the Cooper Flagg fans and the Duke fans out there, I know Austin Norman's one of them. I'm not anywhere near panicked on Cooper Flagg. He was playing with Team USA, and those guys all praised him like crazy, saying this guy's a dude. I'm going to listen to those guys as opposed to just one NBA game in Summer League. So that's where I'm at with Cooper Flagg. Some of the other ones that were noticeable real quickly before we go ahead and get out of here was, I believe, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost as well, which was a bit of a shocker. It is 99 between the Pacers and Thunder right now with 6 minutes left. But yesterday, the games that stuck out, my Bulls won. Playing the Pistons, kind of a shocker. The New York Knicks, though, they take down the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you called it. Orlando Magic get a big win yesterday as well. With that being said, good morning, Pierson-El. We'll go ahead and get out of here. But before we do so, give me your winner between the Nuggets and Warriors at 9 p.m. later tonight.
Warriors.
Do you not like the Nuggets?
Not really. I mean, I mean, they're cool or whatnot, but I think kind of the nucleus of what they got out there with the Warriors, I think once it comes in crunch time, I mean, especially early in the season, I think they'll flash. But once it comes in crunch time, I think they're gonna wreak some havoc as well. But I mean, the Nuggets are all right. I think a bit overrated at times.
You said it, not me. That's for certain. All right.
Outside of Joker, I mean,
I like Joker a lot, maybe too much. Maybe that's why I need to realize. We got to get out here, though. Don't punt the hour. Good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate it as always. I will talk to you next week. Good morning. Chris Rapp coming up next.